Hello all. In today's class, we are going to see Top Girls by Churchill. It is a powerful feminist play which is performed on August 28, 1982 at Royal Court Theatre in London. The play questions what it truly means for a woman to succeed in the capitalist and patriarchal society. The introduction about the author. Carl Churchill was born in London in 1938 and grew up between the United Kingdom and Montreal in Canada. She studied English at Oxford University, where her first play Downstairs was staged in 1958. Later, she became one of Britain's most influential feminist dramatists, known for her bold political themes, experimental style, and her collaboration with theatre collectives like Joint Stock and Monstrous Regiment. And her other works include Cloud9, Far Away, A Number, Serious Money, Love and Information, Escaped Alone, and also Seven Jewish Children. Moving on, historical background. So, the play Top Girls is set in the political atmosphere of Margaret Thatcher's 1980s England, a period defined by aggressive capitalism, competition, and individual success. Here, Churchill questions whether the women's liberation means simply imitating masculine ruthlessness or whether true feminism requires a new understanding of success itself. Throughout the play, she highlights the contradictions of feminist progress inside a capitalist society. Let's see the characters. So, first character, she is the protagonist of the play Top Girls, Marlene. She is the central figure and she has just been promoted to managing director at the Top Girls Employment Agency. The play title of the play is Top Girls, which is actually the employment agency's name. And her success, however, comes at the personal cost. She has abandoned her daughter Angie, leaving her to be raised by her sister Joyce, so she could pursue her career free from responsibility. And then Joyce, she is Marlene's sister and Angie's adoptive mother. She works multiple cleaning jobs to support the household after her husband leaves her. And Joyce resents Marlene for giving up Angie and feels that her own life has been shaped by the burdens of Marlene's escape. And then this character, Joyce, also represents a working class woman who sacrifices support to the success of others. And she is very critical of Angie and is fearful that she will never marry or get a job. That Angie is very careless. She's not having any feelings or care for her futuristic life. So this Joyce, she blames her miscarriage on the stress of raising Angie and resents her sister for saddling her with the responsibility. And then moving on, the next character is Angie. So Angie is 16 years old. She is Marlene's biological daughter. She is emotionally aggressive and not academically inclined. And she also dreams of becoming like Marlene. Her inspiration is Marlene, her mother. But it is not known to her. Marlene is she thinks that Angie thinks the Marlene is the aunt of her and Joyce is her own biological mother. But actually not. Marlene is her own mother. She believes Marlene as her aunt, as I said, and her best friend Kit, as a 12 years old, is brighter and more ambitious. Their friendship highlights the difference between them and foreshadows Angie's troubled future. And also, the next character is Win. So, Win and Nell are Marlene's colleagues at the agency, Top Girls agency. Here, Win is well educated, independent, and currently in an affair with a married man. She is happy to have Marlene as her boss, and Nell is ambitious and she is turned down a marriage proposal to focus on her profession. She initially resents Marlon for getting the promotion which she wanted for herself. In certain places, she got possessive and jealous of getting by seeing the Marlon how she got a managing director post. And moving on, the next character is Mrs. Cade. I have given a separate slide for Mrs. Cade because she comes and pleads to Marlon to give up her managing director post. Like a woman is reason for bringing down the other women. She is a symbol of that case. So Mrs. Cade is the wife of Marlon's co-worker, Mr. Howard, who confronts Marlon and begs her not to take the promotion. She argues that Howard deserves it more because he has a family to support, unlike Marlon. And her appearance shows how patriarchy survives through the women themselves. Yeah. And then the next character is Jani. So Jani is a young woman preparing for marriage. Marlon dismisses her because she believes Jani lacks ambition. And the next character is Lucy. Lucy is a 46 years old lady. She feels unappreciated after 21 years in her job. She has 21 years of experience in a job, and she still comes to attend interview in Top Girls agency. Here she represents the old women ignored by the corporate culture. And then Sona is actually her age is 21, but she pretends to be a 29 one. To avoid her profile as a fresher, she want to showcase her as an experienced one. So Sona is desperate for work. She lies about her experience in order to fit into the competitive world. This is her background, and then the play is divided into three acts. The act one takes place in the restaurant where Marlon hosts a surreal dinner party celebrating her promotion to managing director of Top Girls Employment Agency. Her guests are five extraordinary women from history, art, fiction who shares the stories of their sacrifice in patriarchal world. And Act 2 Scene 1 takes place between the Marlon and Janie, where Marlon interviews the Janie. We see Marlon at work in London interviewing candidates and managing her team. This scene reveals her professional success and ruthless efficiency in the corporate world. And then moving on, this Act 2, Scene 2 is happening in the Joy's backyard where we meet Angie. The character introduction of Angie is made here in this particular scene. And she is also with her friend Kit. They will be going to movie, and the activities are done during the early childhood days of Angie is represented here. And the next act, the Act 2, next scene 3 is in Top Girls Agency. It is a Monday at Top Girls Agency unfolds with an interview, personal confessions, and tensions as Angie arrives unexpectedly. And Mrs. Kidd also enters here and she confronts Marlon about the promotion. And Act 3 reveals the true identity of Marlon, because Angie is the biological daughter of Marlon, which is really revealed in this particular act. Since the character description I have already said to you, Angie is the real daughter of Marlon, but actually in this particular play, Act 3, we could see the revelation. And then the final scene exposes the devastating personal cost of Marlon's professional success. Yeah, first act we could see the dinner party. I'll explain the characters in the dinner party, and then act wise summary we'll see in the next video. So first, the dinner party guests or the historical women, where we could see six persons from different timelines and time zones, and also from different place like fictitious character, fictitious character, and from paintings, and also from the real historical era. So all these women represents different kind of emotions in the controlled patriarchal society. So Churchill uses the first act to bring five historical and legendary women to the dinner with Marlin. These stories shows how women across the centuries survived patriarchy through sacrifice, disguise, obedience. Fine. And then Isabella, she is an adventurous traveler. She's the first character who comes for the dinner party. She's a world traveler who escaped Victorian restrictions through travel. She represents the desire for female independence, but also the limitations placed on women in her era. And she also became the first women elector to the Royal Geographic Society. Her character represents women who found freedom through unconventional path, yet remained constrained by Victorian expectation of femininity and propriety. Fine. The next character is Lady Nijo. Lady Nijo was a concubine to Japanese Emperor Go-Fukakusa and wrote autobiographical account, The Confessions of the Lady Nijo. She also wrote a book called autobiographical book called The Confessions of Lady Nijo. And after being banished from the court, she became a Buddhist nun and she spent 20 years traveling throughout Japan. Her story reveals the precarious positions of the women dependent on the male favor and the spiritual transformation possible after the loss of status. And the next character is Dulgred. Dulgred is a character from Bruegel's painting Dulgred. So the spelling differs. The character's spelling Dulgred is different from the painting spelling Dulgred. So she appears as a peasant woman wearing armor and apron, roaming the countryside, chasing the devils. And then while experts agree the painting is allegorical, it is exact its exact meaning remains mysterious. In Churchill's play, grit represents the working class female rage and the violence of women pushed beyond endurance. Her character speaks in fragmented, visceral language about storming hell itself. And then the next character is Pope Joan. Pope Joan, according to legend, disguised herself as a man to enter the church and eventually became Pope. Her story highlights how women sometimes survive only by adopting male identity and how they are punished when their womanhood is revealed. This particular character is very interesting because she is actually a girl who dressed like a pope, and she was eventually elected as a pope but revealed her true identity by going into labor during a procession. Her character represents the women who succeeded by adapting male identity only to be destroyed when their female biology is exposed. She is found as the Pope, she is disguised as a Pope, and her true identity is revealed in a procession, and she is stoned to death because she got a labor pain during the procession in a public place. And then the next character is Patient Griselda. Patient Griselda is a fictitious character from Chaucer's Clerk's Tale. She represents the patriarchal ideal of a perfectly obedient woman. Her presence at the dinner party is ironic. Actually, she embodies the suffering of women but taught to accept as virtue. This Patient Griselda is a girl who is very patient, as her name suggests. Her husband, the Marquis, he keeps on tortures her by removing her child from her, and then he keeps on tests her patience, her chastity, and she every time proves that she only belongs to the Marquis and she is obedient and helpful wife forever. And then moving on, act summary. So let's see this in the next video, part 2 video, along with the MCQs. We'll discuss at the final slides. Thank you for watching.